I want to talk about engaging addicted women. I want to talk about women who fit this profile, because this is the group I got 20 years of data on. These are women with histories of abuse and neglect of their children within child welfare and child protection systems. These are women who may be as addicted to chaos in their life as they are the drugs in their life. Are you with me? These are women who are as addicted to toxic relationships as they are the drugs in their lives. These are women that when they come in and you do a comprehensive biopsychosocial assessment, the only question is who's more depressed at that moment, them or you. You know what I'm talking about? No, I'm saying, because at the end of it, you are so overwhelmed, right? I mean, to say, where in the hell do I even start with this, right? And what do you think she feels like having gone through this litany of stuff, right? So, okay, you gotta look, they're categorized as multiple problem clients and families. They've been involved in multiple systems. Okay, well, we find people like that, and we find them in recovery who have got no right to be in recovery. Because if you look at all the clinical data, they got no prognosis for recovery. So we come and we interview these women in this one project in Illinois called Project Safe. And we say to these women, tell us the story. I want to know how it happened. Now I got to tell you, in the early days of Project Safe, this is like late 86 to 90, I'm so programmed in terms of traditional models of understanding how people recover, which is based on pain, right? It's a pain quotient. When the pain gets great enough, you know, people let go, and there's this opportunity for change. So I'm listening for this pain, this hit bottom crisis story. I ain't hearing nothing like that. Not a thing. I'm getting these crazy stories. And so I'm finally telling this one, well, tell me, I'm looking, was there an incident that sparked this? Was there, something about the crisis? Her whole life's a crisis. There's no crisis. I mean, so finally she said, you really want to know how I got in recovery? I got in recovery because I couldn't get rid of that crazy woman. And I'm going, I ain't got no concept of crazy woman as a pathway of entry into recovery, right? I said, who are you talking about? And she said, that outreach worker from so-and-so. She said, I couldn't get rid of that crazy woman. She just kept coming and coming and coming. She said, that woman kept coming and she kept leaving me these mushy notes. Now, I got no concept of mushy notes in terms of therapeutic engagement. Boundary violations? Yes. She said, you know the kind I'm talking about. I didn't have a clue. It's like a Hallmark outreach series or something, right? She said, no, she said, you know the kind I'm talking about. She'd write this mushy stuff like, hope you've been having a great day, been thinking about you, love, sign so-and-so, the outreach worker. And she said, I kept tearing them cards up. And she said, she tracked me down in a crack house one day. Saw my car, stopped. I'm telling I won't even use the language, but it was bad. Describing the other women with her. I'm telling all these other women, okay, to shut up because she's out there and she's coming up. And here's this woman knocking on the door of this crack house. Say, Marcia, I know you're in there. I know you're too scared to come to the door, but I ain't giving up on you, child. I'll be back. Slid the card one more time, right? It was just amazing, So I'm hearing these like crazy stories. One of the stories I heard, one of the wildest stories I heard was a woman who said, I'd been hiding from this woman for 4 weeks. And I had to go back to my place to pick up some clothes. And I went back to my place, and here's this woman, and this was, by the way, this was an outreach worker we were actually worried about because she dressed pretty classy. A lot of flash. We were worried about her safety. She didn't care. She was proud of her stuff, right? We never could. She came and sat down to decide she was just going to wait for this woman one day. She's waiting like an hour and a half. This woman's not showing up. And they got this old scraggly lawnmower sitting over on the side and grass about this deep. Now I want you to picture this woman. Says, I'm going to get this woman's attention in her high heels now. Pulling this cord, gets this mower started. And this woman pulled up and she said, here is this crazy, insane woman mowing my grass in front of my house. Now I know you're all going, what on earth? Because that's what I was saying. I finally said to this client, tell me about the first day you went to treatment. She said, like 1,000 other days. I was out there ripping and running. My babies had been taken. I stopped by to pick stuff up at my apartment. And while I'm there, there's a knock on the door. I open the door, and here's this woman one more time. I didn't say anything. I looked at her and said, don't say a word. Let's go. Now, I want you to think of this through with me. I'm describing 6, 7, 8 weeks. If I'm talking about aggressive, just short of stalking charges kind of outreach, right? So tell me what happened from the first day where she didn't want to have anything to do with this woman, but yeah, maybe she'd be okay if she came back sometime later, right? And don't say a word, let's go. What changed? Did the pain quotient in her life change in that 8 weeks? Not a bit. So what made the difference? I will not give up on you. Now, there were encounters the client later told me about. She said, I got in her face so bad telling her she knew nothing about my life and nothing about my business. And this outreach worker said, oh yeah, let me tell you what I know about your life. Let me tell you what it's like to have your children taken from you. Are you with me? And she said, that woman told some truth. So what happened? Let me tell you in the outreach worker's word, when I went and interviewed outreach workers later about these stories I was hearing. And I still was trying to make sense of all of it. And finally one of the outreach workers said, here it is, assertive, these extremely assertive outreach models. The outreach worker said to me, Bill, you don't get it. My clients don't hit bottom, my clients live on the bottom. Bottom is the norm for them. And then what they said, and see if this fits for some of your women. These women have they have a greater capacity for physical and psychological pain than you can ever begin to fathom. Pain will not be a motivator at this moment in their life. And then they said something very profound. They said the issue the issue around initiating recovery is not an absence of pain, it's an absence of hope. Everybody with me? It is not an issue of pain or an absence of pain. The issue is an absence of hope. So what did the outreach worker do? Yeah, so we're talking about shifting technologies here from our traditional pain-based intervention technologies that are fairly coercive and rely on crises and accidents and pain of different varieties, and really shifting over towards recovery as a pull force rather than push, right? Pull meaning what? We begin to bring recovery role models into the lives of people addicted to alcohol and other drugs and provide living proof, in some cases, of people they used to shoot dope with, right? Used to live in the wino gutters with. I mean, living proof that there is a choice. Their life can be different. Powerful stuff.